Botswana has got the unenviable position of GDP contractions, while at the same time having to increase its debt load to try and service government's imperatives for the upliftment of the country. It all stems from the fact that the global diamond market, on which it's historically been very reliant, has weakened substantially with no end in sight.
The difference between this crisis that Botswana is experiencing and the crisis in the diamond industry during the global financial crisis back in 2008, 2009, and the COVID-led crisis in 2020, 2021, is that this one seems to be much more structural in nature and not just cyclical. That means that Botswana's ability to escape this crisis is much tougher now than before. Before, it was a global event, temporary demand, a downturn for diamonds. It picks up very quickly, nearly like a V-shaped recovery. However, the growing threat posed by synthetic diamonds globally and increasing popularity thereof, in addition to changing consumer tastes, that is what is really behind the current crisis.
In July this year, the Botswana Finance Ministry made the decision to devalue the Pula currency relative to other currencies, as it says the higher value Pula was serving to make Botswana goods and services less competitive against its trading partners.
The joint research by the Bank of Botswana and the Ministry of Finance indicated that the Pula was moderately overvalued by around 5% to 10%. Meaning that the Pula was 5 to 10% stronger than it should be compared to other currencies. Mr. Speaker, it's important that we all understand that in the past, an overvalued Pula was not a problem. It was not a problem because diamond exports brought in billions of Pula worth of foreign currency. That income was large enough to protect our reserves, even when the Pula was slightly overvalued. Today, the diamond market has weakened. Global demand has dropped, prices have fallen, and Botswana is earning far less from diamond sales, meaning that the previously strong flow of foreign currency has slowed significantly.
Botswana's reliance on the diamond sector is now stifling that economy, with government finances in a perilous state. The government has been spending more on government programs than it receives in revenue, recording a budget deficit of 9.4% in 2024, with the hope of bringing that down to 7.6% this year, which is still very high by regional standards. And while the previous Botswana Democratic Party and recently elected Umbrella for Democratic Change Party have come up with economic transformation policies, Marcus says this won't help the current crisis right now, because reform takes time.
We know what needs to be done. You need to diversify the economy, you need to diversify fiscal revenues, focus more on maybe tourism and others. But the previous government has also done that. The tourism sector has grown, the financial sector has grown. There's a focus on the digital economy, etc. But it is still being dwarfed by the diamond sector because mining is still about a quarter of overall GDP. And it's, as I said, 90% of exports. It is probably 30% of fiscal revenues, if not slightly higher, depending on which cycle you are.
As a result of Botswana's financial constraints, the government has also been looking to cut spending, which is negative for the delivery of basic services to its citizens.
It's becoming increasingly difficult for Botswana to provide much needed assistance and allocations to critical industries, health, education, etc. So it is a very tough road for Botswana ahead. They've already borrowed about $304 million from the African Development Bank, and we suspect that they might have to borrow even more.
Botswana is now having to contend with higher unemployment levels and is less able to provide a social wage, causing socio-economic hardships. And while diversification is an imperative the country needs to achieve, that will take time. Meanwhile, the country is seized with finding that magic catalyst that will help turn its fortunes around. And while diamonds were once the country's best friend, helping to build it up to where it is, it seems unlikely to be the resource that secures Botswana's future. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.